Здравейте! Вие сте с новия епизод на Технологичният клуб на nixanbal, който все така записваме тук в Viva.com Tech Hall и в който ще имаме малко по-различен сценарий. Този път темата на броя е едно мое интервю, което успях да направя в Барселона на Световния мобилен конгрес с представител на OPPO. С него си поговорихме за голямата новина около OPPO, а именно пускането на първите им смартфони с сгъваеми дисплей извън границите на родния Китай. Попитах ги какво точно им дава партньорството с Hasselblad, както и какво представлява чипът Meri Silicon, който те разработват и използват в най-способните си камерафони. Гледайте, обещавам да бъде интересно!
Започва темата на броя. Рубриката се реализира с подкрепата на Viva.com.
So, I would like to start off with today's date. It's been almost exactly 1 year since you announced your partnership with Hasselblad.
Right.
What would you say is the verdict now? How do you see these past 12 months? How did it help you for your devices?
I think it did help a lot. So, like you said, 1 year ago we announced the partnership. We've been working with them a while before that already to get everything going and to prepare. Find X5 series was the first series. Now you have Find N2 Flip, which is the second device we did together with Hasselblad, or the second device series we did together with Hasselblad. And the results really speak for themselves. If you see the color tune, because the cooperation is built around color science. So we work with them to get better color. And if you just see the advancements from Find X3 series, Find X5 series, first one with Hasselblad, Find N2 Flip series, I think it definitely is worth it. The greens are better, it's just more natural colors.
Could you say something more about this partnership? Actually, exactly what it covers in the camera of the smartphone? It's not about hardware components, right?
Correct. So for the hardware side, we have like Meri Silicon X, which is our own imaging NPU. We have Sony sensors, quite a lot of them, right? So the high-end tiers. What we do with Hasselblad is really built around color science, which means it is software, it is understanding how a picture should look like. It's not like you get the raw information from the sensor, but that's nothing that people really want to look at. So everyone has his color science, everyone has his mood or tune or look, how a picture should look like. And this is where we are working with Hasselblad. So when you look at the phone, in the Pro mode you get the real, like if you shoot RAW, you get what it's called HNCS certified. So it's the Hasselblad Natural Color Science certified. You get the real look from Hasselblad. And for the other modes, like JPEG and also photo mode, we've worked with them to come up with a tune that is like also, let's say, consumer friendly. Because the Hasselblad look is more like pro. If you shoot RAW, you know what you're doing and you want to use it in Lightroom afterwards, for example. Right? So it's all about how the picture look and how it appears to the people.
And what would you say about this partnership? Is it just to make really your camera better than before and to help you do something you couldn't do on your own without this brand? Or is it more to make you visible for the wider audience on the global market? Because obviously OPPO is a Chinese-based company, but it's really much more visible now, obviously entering the global market and with Hasselblad.
True. I mean, if you see what we are doing, we're partnering with UEFA, right? I think we do a lot of things to be known on the global scale. We have awesome products, we have awesome corporations. When it comes to Hasselblad, it was or it is really a technical corporation. So it started from engineering and then went to putting the brand on the phone because we worked with them. Before, there was a bit of a weakness in OPPO phones when it comes to color. And I'm not shy agreeing on that, right? If you look at the older series, like Find X3 series, I think this is a good comparison if you still have the devices around, test it. X3, X5. On the X3, all the colors are slightly too strong. So the greens are like really green and the sky is like really, really blue. So we had to find someone, potentially also with a little bit more global or more Western experience, how the color should look like. And in Hasselblad we found the right people because they care all about color.
Now you have this huge photography brand on your smartphones, but you also develop your Meri Silicon chip. Do you plan to keep it in your future phones and to upgrade it in a way? for the future generations?
Absolutely. So Silicon X imaging NPU is something we developed to unlock a bottleneck in processing. Because we saw with the limited space you have on a smartphone, in terms of sensor size, battery size, lens size, you can just get that far, right? And there's physics, there's light, all these kind of things that you can hardly cheat on. But with AI, you can do a lot of things. Like you can do stacking of pictures, you can do multi-segmentation, different areas that you can segment and tune differently for HDR. But we found that the processing power was not necessarily enough. So that was our bottleneck. Like we had the hardware, we had all the data, we had not enough resources to treat the data and to process the data. And this is why we created Silicon X. Because if you use, we still use like the SoCs, we still use the ISP built into Qualcomm, built into MediaTek, who are our partners in smartphone. But you don't get dedicated resource when it comes to AI. You always have to share your resource with all the other things that run on the phone and that would like to do something in that area. With Silicon X now, we have one chip, one resource, very powerful, that is only there for us, only for our camera, and nothing else, right? So we can use the full power and process, if you look at Find X5, Find N2 Flip, we can now process the information in raw domain, so that the quality get a huge boost, and we are very much driving that forward. I think when you just look at the silicon and what the chipset can do, we haven't reached the full potential yet in the software. So we could expect
the Silicon to evolve in the future, right?
Oh yes, definitely.
Okay. Okay. Now let's talk about foldables, because I recently had both of your phones, the new ones. How did you make the crease so much less visible in the Flip one? I believe it's really, really almost invisible.
Thank you very much. First of all,
what was the secret behind it?
It's in the hinge. So of course, like I think that the hinge is like the Achilles heel of all the foldables, right? Everyone is talking about the hinge and how it's designed, because this is where it differentiates, and this is also where the crease is being created or not created. When you look at other models, they're using a rather sharp U-fold. So they're like, if you look at the piece of paper, they're like really folding it. And this is why the crease get really deep. And for us, we have like a water drop. So again, if you would hold a piece of paper and you just fold it and you hold it on the top, you see this kind of water.
Yeah, but you know, we have heard about this strategy with the water drop before. I believe the Razer, the first one, was like this, but it still had the crease. So it's not only this decision, but also maybe something else.
It is, number one, water drop. Number two is, of course, how you design the hinge, right? I think we spent more than 4 years in developing our foldable technology. Last year was the Find N, the first we launched with the first generation Flexion hinge. This year it's already the second generation, so things got much more simple, more robust, higher quality, higher strength, 400,000 folds certified. So there's a lot of engineering and intel that goes into that.
Would you say this is the reason, this special hinge, that you still don't have the IP rating? Because this is the speculation that's going around, and that's why Samsung does have it, because they have the bigger crease but different mechanism and something. Is waterproofing something that you would consider adding to your future devices, foldables?
Well, the Find N2 Flip is, let's call, like daily life proof, right? It is splash proof. And we made sure that if there would be an accident, you spill your coffee in the morning, right?
It's okay.
That's okay. So it is splash proof, and also the hinge is sealed against dust. So there are sealings on the side. There's dust traps below the hinge to make sure that if dust is entering, it does not get in the mechanics. These kind of things. It's totally fine. When it comes to IP rating which is a certification, we've decided to rather put our focus on like larger batteries, because we saw there is a need, and creating just our focus somewhere else. But again, it is life proof.
Okay. Why did you only launch in the global market the Flip one and not the N2, the Find N2? Everybody loves this phone. It's so
I love
popular.
Yeah, true. I love it as well. I think it's a bit of a luxury problem on one hand, because we had so many things to choose from. Right, we have the Find X5 Pro, awesome product, non-foldable. We have the Find N2 Flip, We have the Find N, which is a fold. We had to start somewhere. And I think from our company perspective, from what we saw with our user research as well, talking to people that are using current flips, current folds, we found that the flip form factor is more accessible. Yeah. So just in terms of usage, I mean, one thing of course is the price. The pricing is slightly different for a fold than a flip because you have different displays. It's just, you know the deal. But when you look at the usage, for a flip phone, you don't need to change your habits. Right? You unfold it and it's just a smartphone. So you can do exact same things that you have always done. And then when you fold it, it's a more compact device you can put in your pocket. Very simple. When it comes to fold, we saw that a lot of people were unhappy with their current fold devices, but not necessarily because they are bad, so I don't want to bash anyone. But the reason is because people are not yet ready or did not yet adapt the benefits of the form factor. So if you're using a fold phone, you need to change habits that maybe you have built for like 10 years or however you're using a smartphone, because it just adds value for you, and when you spend all that money to buy one, it adds value when you unfold.
Yeah. Also, the phone itself should offer you new ways of interaction in good enough software and new features.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So software readiness is of course another topic, right? It must be the platform need to be ready, and also the apps need to be adapted to create a good experience, which again for a flip is not a topic because it's just a normal phone when you unfold.
Okay. How big of a market share do you believe you would grab by the end of the year in the global market in foldables only? I mean, you're obviously making a splash with this flip phone. Yeah. Everywhere. Yeah.
Hard to tell. So what we see is that the flip market or the foldable market in general is evolving. It's growing quite quickly. You can check the data from all the industry analysts. I don't need to share that one with you. I think you have them anyway. So we are confident that we can grow with the market and potentially even outperform in some areas because the product is very good. I cannot yet share some numbers or targets that we want to hit because we know it's early days. For OPPO, in some countries in Europe, we are still like a very young brand. So we understand it takes a while, but we are confident that the product speaks for itself.
Maybe just some expectations for the smartphone market for this year. What do you believe will happen? What do you expect for your portfolio? Which will be the most exciting force for the customers?
Okay. Well, it has been a tough 2022, to be honest, for all the industry due to the global situation, global economy, everything that is going on right now in the world. We do expect that this year will start at a rather slow pace, and this is in line with what you see from business analysts right now. But we do hope that the second half of the year we will see some recovery in the market in total, not just for OPPO, but for the total market.
And last year, I believe, you had the X5 here on your booth. Why don't we see the X6 now?
Can't talk about the future. Exactly. Stay tuned. I think for now we show the foldables that are publicly announced. Of course, we're always working on future devices and future roadmaps. So stay tuned to see what might come up.
Okay. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Cool.
Гледайте Технологичният клуб в YouTube канала на nixanbal или слушайте епизодите във водещите подкаст платформи.